లింక్ ఇచ్చిరా వాళ్ళు? ఓపెన్ అయిందా? చూస్తున్నారా? డైరెక్ట్ యూట్యూబ్ లో అంటే ఇప్పుడు వైఫై త్రూ పోతుంది ఇది? ఆన్ అయింది వైఫై? ఏడా
వెయిటింగ్
ఇంట్లో కూడా వైఫై ఉంది. నేను వేడివేనా లైఫ్ స్కీమ్? వేడివేనా లైఫ్ స్కీమ్? అదే ఏడా మీ బాగా తెలిసి పోయినా మరి ఏడవైనా ఆర్డరా? ఏడుండే నిన్న ఏడుండే కాకతీయ ఒకటి. రైట్ రైట్ చెప్తే మంచిది. ఇలా మ్యూట్లో పెట్టవచ్చు. ఇలా మీకు ఆడియో వస్తుంది కానీ ఇక్కడ మ్యూట్ పెడితే అక్కడ మీకు వినిపించదు. ఎక్సర్సైజ్ అయిపోయింది. ఎక్సర్సైజ్ అయిపోయింది అందరికి. ఇప్పుడు లైవ్ ఆన్ చేసిన ఇక్కడ ఒక కదా కొద్దిగా ఇటు రావాలని. बोले बोलो दारू मैं अभी बिजी हूँ भाई, डिस्टर्ब ना को करो. DGP आ रहा है. कल का प्रोग्राम कितने टाइम से है? మేము ఉండలేమన్నా, మేము ఉండలేము. అనవసరం నేను సైలెంట్ ఉంటాను. మేము మాట్లాడితే కంపల్సరీ ఉంటుంది కదా అటు ఇటు పొజిషన్కి వెళ్తే. అది మీ ఇష్టం, అది మీరు ప్రాబ్లం. అది మేము చేయలేదు. నాకు ఉంటుంది కదా.
మీ లైఫ్ స్టార్ట్ చేసేది అట్లా కూడా పోలేదు. ఎందుకంటే పొజిషన్ తీసుకుంటాం కెమెరా చదివితే అయితే ఆర్డర్స్ కావాలి కదా ఇచ్చేస్తే మీ దగ్గర రాదు అది ఊరుకోరు పోయి వచ్చేస్తారు. తెలంగాణ సాక్షి
पूरा साइड होते
boleh mana? Sekretariat.
నేను మాట్లాడుతున్నాను
ఏమైందన్నా? ఏమైంది? చూసి ఒకటే నవ్వుతున్నావు. ఇటు సైడ్ నా ముఖం చూసి నవ్వుతున్నావు. నా ముఖం ఎందుకు చూసి నవ్వుతున్నావు? ఎందుకు నవ్వుతావు? మాట్లాడు, నవ్వు, ఏడు, నాకు అవసరం లేదు. కానీ ఇటెందుకు చూస్తున్నావు? ఓకే, మామూలు వదిలేసే, నేను నీ గురించి మాట్లాడుతున్నా. మాట్లాడుకుంటే అట్లా మాట్లాడుకో. సెకండ్ ఇటు చూసి మాట్లాడుకుంటున్నావు అవుతా ఉనకని అట్లనే అనిపిస్తుంది. ఒకసారి 2 సార్లు చూస్తాను. हेलो हेलो, बोलिए। हाँ मैडम बोलिए। हाँ 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 हाँ, ये 20 लोग आते हैं, 20 मेंबर्स थे. हाँ काचीगुड़ा ना, काचीगुड़ा था ना. हाँ मैडम, हाँ बोलिए बोलिए. मैडम एक बार डेट सेंड व्हाट्सएप कर देना मैडम, मैं चेक करके आपको कॉल करती हूँ। चेक करके गूगल पे जैसे मुझे उसके सपरेट चार्ज होते हैं सर को पूछना पड़ता जब भी आपको डेटा कर जैसे ठीक है मैंने डेट व्हाट्सअप करेंगे हाँ ठीक है मैम अभी तो मैं बाहर फिलहाल शूट में होगी बाहर शूट में है मैं आपको 8 o'clock तक बोलूँगा आप एक बार डेट मैसेज करना व्हाट्सअप कर दूँगा मैं कर देता हूँ क्या है वो बोल देता हूँ है तो दे दो बोले तो दे दूँगा कुछ भी बोले तो आपको बोल दूँगा ठीक है थैंक यू
distraction there.
Please come. Come. Aye, please. Randi.
Welcome, sir. How are you? Ramna Rachepalli. Evening, sir.
Wire, yeah.
1 year junior to moving. We work together in the same.
Yes. CEO.
చేత్తో కేబుల్ లాక్కెళ్ళు వెళ్తుందండి
This cable being done by hand. Although when you see how done by we have a team called Continuum. We have graphic designers. Done by hand.
Yes, please.
Where we work. This is our office. Got a shell.
On the left.
We believe money should be deployed in business, so we'll rent and not have a white elephant. Then you are worried about how to keep the white elephant. We haven't met Pradeep Ravi. Numbers anyway. It's a skill company card.
పైకి సేరా బయట వరకు సార్ ఫైనల్
Since you have not met Rashida, or probably Rashida is it's been a long-standing charter member for Hyderabad, long time.
are the ones who make a brighter day, so let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We are saving our lives. It's to make a better day, just you and me. Oh, send up your heart, so that someone else, and the lives will be stronger and free. As God has shown us, by turning stones to bread, the lives will be stronger and free. We are the world, we are the children, we are the ones who make a brighter day, so let's start living. There's a choice we're making. We are saving our lives. It's to make a better day, just you and me. We are the world, we are the children, we are the ones who make a brighter day, so let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We are saving our lives. It's to make a better day, just you and me. It's to make a better day, just you and me.
We have another performance from Udbhav school students. Please come to the stage.
ఆ పక్కానాదే ఈ పక్కానాదే తలపైన ఆకాశం ముక్కానాదే ఆ తప్పు నేనే ఈ ఒప్పు నేనే తప్పొప్పులు తగలెట్టే నిప్పు నేనే నన్నైతే కొట్టెటోడు ముందైతే పుట్టలేదు పుట్టాడా మళ్ళా నేనే నన్ను మించే ఎదికి తోడు ఇంకోడు నాడు తోడు ఎవడంటే అది రేపటి నేనే నేర్పిస్తానా వేసమటా చేతిలోన గొట్టలటా చేసిందే ఇంతమటా సైకిస్తే తండ్రి కట్టా బిడ్డ ఇది నా అడ్డ బిడ్డ ఇది నా బిడ్డ బిడ్డ ఇది నా అడ్డ అరే బిడ్డ ఇది నా అడ్డ పొలం కట్టు దుమ్ముల
Thank you very much. I think we needed that, right, for a Saturday evening. All of us were a little sleepy, so they woke us up. Thank you very much, Udbhav students. I think you've woken us up, woken all of us up. Thank you very much for the wonderful performance. Okay, so next we will have the lighting of the lamp. We've gone a little different in sequence, so we will do the lighting of the lamp now. I request our honorable guests for the evening, Mr. Mahendar Reddy, Mr. Pradeep Kumar, Mr. Bhaskar Reddy, Ms. Sunita Krishnan, and Mr. Jayaraj Kumar to kindly light the lamp, please.
ना कुछ पाक कुछ అన్న ఆపానా ప్రవీణ్ అన్న ఆపు అన్న మీరు లేగాలి అక్కడ ఓ అన్న అది ఫ్లాష్ వస్తుంది అట్లా అని ఆపు
1 second sir please
ఇంకా వస్తుంది ఫ్లాష్ రైట్
thank you
I request our honorable chief guest to kindly take their seats on the podium, please, on the dais.
అన్నా అన్నా లైవ్ నడుస్తుంది
We'll now request the Udbhav school students who performed for us, who entertained us, to please come to the stage and collect their gifts. The Udbhav school students, please come to the stage. I request Mr. Mahendra Reddy to please give away the gifts for the students.
నేను
We will soon serve snacks, but please use up your energy. We need a big round of applause for the students. Thank you so much for that. So we'll start the event now. I request Mr. B. Ramakrishnan, CEO TMI Group, to address the gathering.
Thank you, Joyce. For the first time, I written down something. Normally, I speak extempore, but I thought this is a very critical event and good thing we want to speak about. So, good evening, Mr. Reddy, the esteemed chief guest for the event. Sunita, who's an old friend, Mr. Bhaskar, Jayaraj, Pradeep, esteemed guests and colleagues. Thank you for joining us today. And on a topic that's become very close to Murli's heart and mind. And you want me to stop this? Okay. Echo, na? Isko band kar dijiye na? Yeah, a topic that's become very close to Murli's heart and mind, and over the years, many of the TMIans have also got inflicted with it or affected with it positively. It's about how do we bring social impact angle into business. Like any other company, I think TMI also has had a journey, the first 2 decades of how do we grow, how do we make more revenues, how do we make profits, how do we sustain. But something changed in the last 1 decade. And that got us to think differently. That got us to think there's more than making business. There are other things to do too. So I would like to list 4 key milestones that happened. In 2011, we became a NSDC partner. And we committed to enhance skills and get employability for 500,000 youth in India. That really changed us. In 2013, I think that has been a very, very big shift in our history. We actually turned out to be lucky to win a World Bank contract to work with Anganwadi workers, or actually that's a little later, sorry. 2013 was, we got a project from World Bank to improve public procurement globally. Government spent trillions of dollars globally. Very often people who buy don't know how to buy, right down to the panchayat. So the World Bank wanted to build capacity. Even today we are partners. After 7 years or 8 years, we still host and run this for them. We have 200,000 learners across 190 countries with us who have all learned. And from there, we have gone into multiple countries in Central Asia and Africa, and including in India, how to procure better. And that opened up many other projects with World Bank, UNICEF, UNDP, GIZ, and that really helped us make a lot of impact on the ground. In 2014, I think we got to conceptualize the employment van, which today we run with Hyderabad Police, where it was all about taking jobs to the bastis in Hyderabad. And that's where we realized how to go to the real bottom of the pyramid. And then we got to partner NASSCOM in 2019, NASSCOM Foundation in 2019, where we worked with multiple IT companies, very large brands, the largest of large IT companies, and to take IT education to people, who are triple disadvantaged. Tier 3 city, Tier 3 college education, and bottom of the socio-economic pyramid, and mostly girls. And that's where we realized what sort of impact we can make. And most of this was, opening up our, we must thank NSDC, the World Bank, Hyderabad Police, and NASSCOM Foundation to open up our eyes as to what's the potential of building in a social connect into a corporate business. And we're really grateful to them. We also set up our own small foundation, and then we realized beyond that little CSR, that small piece that we can do, this is that's really impactful. And I want to tell you what sort of impact, taking 2 examples, and why we are so satisfied and why we are so delighted. Let's take jobs first, which is what TMI is known for. Imagine the delight one can get when somebody comes and tells you, somebody whom we have skilled or somebody whom we have trained or somebody whom we have got a job, saying that thanks to you, my family income has got doubled. Today we can have vegetables every day.
For many of us in this gathering, eating vegetables every day is, it's given. But how do you react to a child who comes and, child as in a youngster who comes and tells you, now I can have vegetables every day at home? I mean, that's the sort of grassroots level impact. It brought tears to our eyes. And when we heard this, things that we take for granted, right? It's also about safeguarding the interests of those poor people who are educated, qualified, desperate to get a job and don't get it because someone else is paying money and getting the job. And the classic example was, I think Rajesh was here, not with us anymore, who worked with us in Bihar Rural Livelihood Society, where we hired 9,000 people. We got offers of 1 lakh per candidate. They wanted to pay us to get the job because it was a government job. I'm very, very delighted to say not one of our employees was tempted, and we filled those 9,000 positions with deserving kids. Some might have been good people. They might have come from better backgrounds, but they wrote the exam, they did well, and we fought off great amount of pressure, all sorts of pressure, including physical pressure to say that take this guy, right? And that's something when you do it, and you have lakhs of job seekers, when you look from that lakhs of job seeker and find those 9,000 people, I think that's the sort of impact we can create, every one of us. We could have, of course, made 90 crores in that, but that would not have been money that we could have digested, right? And that's something that's powerful. To date, we don't take any money from the candidates because we get paid by the corporate. And in an average year, we process about at least 500,000 candidates. And if you take even 100 or 500 rupees, we'll be making crores. But we believe that job seeker, who is actually the critical piece in this, we need to help him. The other another example I would like to take is the capacity building case. We're extremely proud, really, really proud of it. GIZ triggered this in us in Madhya Pradesh, and then World Bank came and made us do it nationally. We worked with over 1 million Anganwadi workers as a project funded by the World Bank, and we've taught them and we've skilled them how to manage growth and how do you manage nutrition and malnutrition. Over 800,000 of these women have been certified. They've learned from a smartphone, begged, borrowed from their friends, neighbors, husbands, brothers, God knows whom. They've learned from their phones, and they have learned how to help nutrition of kids in small villages. All this so that physical stunting does not happen in the next generation of Indians. UNICEF saw this and said, you guys are doing it on the nutrition side, why not on the brain development side? A child grows, 90% of the brain or 95% of the brain is developed in 0 to 6 years. If you don't make an impact on the child in that period, this child is going to be stunted for life. He may be physically fit thanks to the nutrition projects that we do, but mentally he's not going to be able to compete with the rest of the world. So we work with UNICEF and we built a model where we are teaching these Anganwadi workers, how do you make these children more aware, how do you make their brains grow better so that there is no physical stunting and there is no mental stunting in the next generation of Indians. This is one of the proudest projects that we are part of, and getting so many of them, really upskilled and making an impact of India is a lasting legacy that Murli I and every TMIN will leave behind. We've done a small little bit. Of course, the money is not ours. It's spent by World Bank or it's spent by UNICEF or by the government. But every small bit of this matters. We take great pride in partnering governments, multilateral agencies, foundations, large Indian corporate, MNC IT companies who spend money through us to design, develop and deploy these high impact projects. The booklet we will be launching today shortly carries many more of these cases where we take immense pride in the ground level impact that we would have created. We would like to sincerely thank every one of our customers who allowed us to partner, chose us to partner with them, collaborated, co-created these multiple interventions, including the e-van, which Mr. Reddy himself was at one point in time, looking at it and gave us a lot of inputs. We converted it into a job connect because ultimately people want jobs. So with the police now we do a job connect program. So we sincerely thank you, sir, and everybody else and our partners and our employees who are every bit part of executing this on the ground. We hope and pray that many more opportunities come our way, and a little bit of when we showcase this book and we put it out in the world out there, I'm hoping that some other companies like ours will be enthused. How do you plug in a social impact that along with a corporate business. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hello. Thank you, Bia. The Udbhav school students are here. They have made a greeting card and they've also made some craft work on their own, which they would like to give to you all. So I request the children to please come to the dais and hand over your gifts to the chief guest. Please. Thank you, students. We can see some wonderful.
Thank you so much. We will now have the unveiling of the TMI Social Impact Brochure. Brochures to the guests.
Request you to stand up and please unveil the brochure. Yeah, you just rip it up.
Thank you. I now request Mr. T. Muralidharan, Chairman, TMI Group, to introduce TMI 2.0 to our esteemed guests and the dignitaries. This is going to be a strategy to stay relevant for the next 10 years. TMD.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Thank you. I can see a lot of wonderful faces who've been with TMI for so many years. I think when you start a journey like what we started in 1991, somebody asked me that as an entrepreneur, what has been your biggest success? My biggest success has been having people like many of you here in the room and many other people in the dais as part of TMI. Many of them here believe they own TMI, apart from my employees, many of our people who are here. So I think I've always believed that when you go with a good heart, good intention, and you put your total commitment to deliver business quality outcomes, not just social quality outcome, business quality outcomes, the whole world is behind you. So today is the time I want to acknowledge all of you who come here and already people in the dais. Each of them have played some role with us. I think Coromandel is a partner, is a big player for our Udbhav school children. I went to Coromandel several years ago asking them to help us to support the school, and they've been with us for more than 7-8 years now, right? And I'm very grateful to them. Jayaraj, every time I go to Jayaraj, a begging bowl, Jayaraj, give me some money. Jayaraj always finds money from his CSR budget and gives it to me. Mr. Mahendar Reddy, every time I want something from him, he always picks up the call, he always finds time for us. And I go to him for inspiration. We'll listen later on why he's been invited today. Because he's one person whom I greatly respect for his commitment to changing things. See, it's very easy to stay where you are, do something and go away. But to change, transform is not easy. So, Mahendar Reddy Garu, I met a few times when he started in 2014-15. He's been always thinking about systems thinking. How do you use system to change so that your legacy will be not a specific act, but a system that you built. And I think that's the thing I learned from him. Sunita is a story by herself. We can talk about in 25 days, 30 days. And she's a great inspiration to me and my wife. I think what Sunita does is the most difficult task in life. To go after trafficked women, and many times with the police, many times against the police, but she has to go there, retrieve them, bring them back and give rehabilitate them. So in my scale of social work, she comes right on top. So thank you, Sunita, for your great service to us. And Mr. Bhaskar Reddy, I told him, I cracked a joke, किसी ने बोला आपने हमारा नमक खाया. But now we are drinking his milk, Jersey milk, right? Mr. Bhaskar Reddy, he's been a past president of FTCCI. He's been a friend of mine for the last 4 years. And he's also been an inspiration because he's built his business with a lot of his own business. Today, I think Godrej is his partner. So Bhaskar Reddy Garu, thank you for coming in short notice. And many people in the audience have been with me. And I think Ram is there, I think, surprised. I thought you were not well. Somebody in the family not well. Many people here have come here because they know one thing about TMI, that when we say something, we mean it. We don't say something and do something else. And that has been the reason why many of you have been with us. Now I'm going to speak for 5 minutes about what is our future. To me, I think as a business enterprise, when the COVID happened, I think we all sat down and asked ourselves that ultimately all businesses are vulnerable. Smaller the business, medium-sized business or larger business, you're vulnerable to fundamental changes happening around you. So we said, can we stay relevant for the next 10 years? Whatever we have done for 30 years, can we sit on the laurels and then think we can extrapolate our past into the future? 2 years of research later, I came to only conclusion that TMI will not be alive, will not survive in the next 10 years if we don't redesign, reform, transform our thought process, transform our leadership process. Everything has to change if you have to stay for next 10 years. So only 2-3 things I want to highlight. The first part is about leadership transition. So Ravi and me have decided now to focus on a group executive board. Some of our group executive members are here. And we have decided that our transition will happen to build leadership within the organization. And therefore, the first thought process in our mind is to let go and create a leadership group within the company. And I'm very proud that some of us, the leadership people, have great potential, and I'm sure they will do better than what we have achieved. Traditionally, we hand over our business to children, but many of these people are my children in TMI. And therefore, I'm very glad that if we are going to hand over possession of the transition, we'll be very happy to hand over our employees. The second thing is about our business. We said, and I think it's very important for some of you from the CEOs and other people in the business, when we did the study, we got one interesting data, that if you study a group of people's performance and ask the question, what is the performance multiple between the top performer and the bottom performer in the same role, in the same company, we were shocked to see the numbers. We have never asked this question before in 25 years. And when I took 6 companies' data, the ratio of performance between the top band of performance and the bottom band of performance is 25x. In other words, in the same group, in the same company, in the same role, somebody is doing 25 times better than somebody else. And I think there is a shocking data which we found. And now we are rebuilding our thought process, saying that, how come we missed out this? How come when we are doing recruiting, we are doing training, we never ask the question how the performance distribution is. Very often we take performance averages and use that to measure a group performance. For the first time, we have not gone into looking at performance multiple. So we are redesigning TMI Group's business, which is called TMI 2.0. We are saying we are in the business of people performance. Whatever we do, we recruit people, they should lead to performance. If you train people, we should lead to performance. If you are able to do analytics, it should give us great insight on how to improve performance. So this is the transformation. Today, many of you who have come, you have seen in the reception of a new positioning. We are saying we are people performance consulting, technology and services company. And this will really, in my mind, India as a country, if you look at our employees and you compare to a Chinese employee or a Korean employee, every one of us have stories to tell how Indian employee is not as efficient as some of these people from China and Korea. That's because we have not been able to understand performance distribution within the people which we use in our company. So I would like to say TMI 2.0 will actually unlock great amount of value first for an organization by focusing on performance, but greaterly we can unlock value for our entire Indian talent across the world. So that's what we want. We seek your blessings on our journey, and I really request you to continue to support us. You are our moral support. We are there because of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, TMD. Our first speaker for the evening is Dr. K. Pradeep Kumar, Executive Vice President, Coromandel International. He's a BTech from NIT Warangal and holds a Master's from Jamanlal Bajaj Institute, Mumbai. He also holds a patent in HR process and is a PhD in human resources. Has worked in companies such as Tata, Saint-Gobain and ITW with over 30 years of experience. And like all of us, he likes cricket, he likes home gardening and likes spending time with his puppy, and his puppy is called Happy. We are honored to have you among us today, sir. Request you to kindly address the evening's gatherings.
Thank you. Good evening, sir. Reddy Garu, and good evening, TMD, and good evening, Jayaraj Garu, and all the good evening, sir, everybody. Thanks for that introduction. Shy for any dais or any such meeting. So, but it is an honor to be being invited for such an auspicious aspect, because we work very closely with TMI, and also my association with TMI has been long, not just with the current company of Coromandel. To give a brief about Coromandel, we are an fertilizers company and also a crop protection company. We make farmers profitable. That's our overall goal. We work for the farmers, we work with the farmers, and we live along with the farmers. That's the Coromandel motto. And the topic which has been given is what else beyond CSR. We have a lot of funds. Of course, we are a growing company, and we are part of Murugappa Group. So wherein the lives of you would have been touched through BSA cycles, Circulis cycles, or Parryware, or Parry chocolate somebody was eaten during the childhood, about the orange color chocolates. So all of them have been part of our Murugappa Group, and also Grow More is our key brand in the lives. So in terms of the CSR, we touch about 12 lakh of people across India. We serve them to make sure that their livelihood goes up. So in the last 10 years, we would have hit more than 1.5 crore people whose lives we would have improved. While I would not like to talk about the amount spent, but we spend large amount of money to make sure that the lives whom we touch makes a lot of difference. Last year we spent about 25 crores in terms of only on CSR, and we do a lot of initiatives like education, like Udbha School, sir. We have been supporting. We are part of the Udbha School. I also been there during the Independence Day. We are very touched with making sure that the students of Udbha School always rise beyond their capability. There are several such schools which are Jilla Parishad schools, and many such schools we make sure that the students are encouraged to do furthermore studies. We do girl child program, wherein we make sure that the students of 9th and 10th are given the cards which are ATM cards, wherein the bank account is open and we deposit money as a scholarship. We do it to make sure that the girl child doesn't drop in the rural, who is a farmer's child. They don't drop education after 9th and 10th. Then after some time we realize that after 10th they are dropping off, so we sponsor even the 11th and 12th. So we make sure that the girl child continues to be educated. So that's a huge amount of work we do. We touch base more than 1.5 lakh every year for every girl child to improve their livelihood and to improve their education. In terms of health, I would say we would do a lot of, we run hospitals. We also run hospitals at our manufacturing units and other places. The community development is, of course, a large chunk of improving the community development where we do. We also encourage sports for the people who are in rural side. We are not just on the CSR, but we also make sure that we are in fertilizers as well as a chemical manufacturing company. We are a zero discharge company, but our manufacturing units, somebody would be wondering, is it a very difficult place to work? I would just give an example. Most of our manufacturing units, they have the ecosystem which is so beautiful that the bird which is called the Kakinada Bird Sanctuary, one of the rarest of the birds, come from different parts of the world, and they have their nests being there for 3 months. So it is within the complex wherein we see our manufacturing, and manufacturing is happening, and they have the nests right there in the manufacturing site, and it has been recognized as one of the Asia's largest bird sanctuary in Asia actually. So you can imagine the amount of care we take for the environment and the amount of money we also make sure that happens. But what Mr. Muralidharan has asked me to talk is, okay, ये तो company का पैसा है, आप लोग क्या कर रहे हैं? So this is right, but spending the company money is also very critical to make sure that the livelihood is improved. But we have a lot of employee volunteering system. Our CSR in employees, we recognize that employee who does extraordinary work beyond the normal role. So we have many people who contribute to the society. We also have people given on some of the clothes which are new, the toys, the books. Some people go and teach in a large number of students, a large number of employees go and teach in schools. They also adopt schools to make sure that happens. I'm not talking about some of the blood donation, other camps which do. So lot of employee, it's imbibed in the Coromandel culture that an employee does, and beyond the work for improvement of the, to show that that person is making an impact in the society. During COVID, the one thing which has done very well is agriculture. So how does it happen? Because the farmers were there tilling their land to make sure that our country goes up, and in fact to make sure that the farmers do and go up to their field and do their services, Coromandel did extraordinary amount of work with them, and our own sales people, our manufacturing people never stopped in serving to the country, so that the food bowl of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh and the country continues to be there, so that there is no person starves because of the COVID which is happening for 2 years. The first COVID was all there, and we as an employees, I am double infected, possibly triple vaccinated, but still we made sure that the country doesn't stop or feel short of any of the inputs which are required for the farmers. So I take pride to also say that when I have witnessed when the first wave came, sir, during the COVID, the parent died because of COVID, and 2 kilometers away the son and the daughter were watching inside the AC car. We lifted the persons and took them to the crematorium, right? So it's not because of we are in HR, our employees took care of somebody else thing, so that we go beyond what is called the nature. The family did not take, but I am sure that would have happened to the people who in service of police as well as in hospitals. But employees dared to make sure that we make a difference. We serve to the community. Because we understand COVID is different, we masked ourselves. We had a proper attire. But when the family actually given up on the parents. So we are completely governed by our value systems, and we are proud that we are part of the Coromandel company. So thanks a lot for inviting us. I feel honored to be here. Thanks a lot, sir, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing such a wonderful event, wonderful episode. I think COVID has touched all of us, and the kind of impact you have created, I think you're more than, the pride in us to be associated with you is just elevated today. Thank you so much. Our next speaker for the evening hails from Suryapet district of Telangana State, graduated in Dairy Technology from Osmania University and completed his Executive MBA from Indian School of Business, Hyderabad. He is the founder and managing director of Creamline Dairy Products Limited, Hyderabad. He has been conferred with the Entrepreneur of the Year 2001 award by the Hyderabad Management Association. He is an active member of the Indian Dairy Association, IDA, and chairman of combined AP and Telangana State. Also the chairman of Agriculture and Agro-Based Industries Committee at FTCCI. He had been the chairman of Andhra Pradesh Association of Deaf and Dumb during the year 1995-2005. It's an honor for me to introduce Mr. K. Bhaskar Reddy, ex-president FTCCI, to please come and address the gathering.
Thank you very much for that lovely introduction. Chief guest of the day, Shri Mahendar Reddy garu, DGP and Chairman of TMI Group, Muralidharan garu, and dignitaries on and off the dais, TMI family. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to be here on this auspicious occasion of unveiling of new office of TMI 2.0, and my congratulations and compliments to you all, to the TMI family. Mr. Muralidharan, I am 1 year older than you. In terms of business, I started my business in 1990, you said in 91. So that way, not on age. Age, you are much older to me. So I compliment Muralidharan garu and the TMI Group and their family for taking up such a wonderful topic of social commitments of business enterprises beyond CSR on this auspicious occasion of your new office inauguration. So I'm here on behalf of Federation of Telangana Chamber of Commerce and Industry, which is a very old, 105-year-old organization, and it's a conglomerate of the businesses of earlier erstwhile Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Now it is Telangana. We have 3,000 direct members and 30,000 indirect membership, and we represent small, medium, large, micro, all the enterprises and professionals in the state of Telangana, and we advocate very actively the interests of these firms with government and support the government in policy making and work with academia and professionals so that the interest of these business groups will take forward in a sustained manner. So that's one hat. The second hat is my business. I am Managing Director of Creamline Dairy Products, which we started in the year of 1990. And currently we operate across southern India with almost 120 plants. Milk is a very basic element. We will be there. It's a hub and spoke model, 11 processing plants and 110 chilling centers, and 3,000 employees and 1,500 crore. So it is same like first generation entrepreneur like Muralidharan, and we built our organizations and our families are, I could see beaming happiness in TMI family. And similarly, whenever we organize our events, it is like this only. And once again, compliments to you and congratulations. Coming to today's topic, so CSR is a very recent phenomena which started by central government, and it is applicable for the people who earn profits. So since I am representing micro, small, medium and large enterprises, and we keep discussing about this CSR activity, it's a dichotomy. Any business, it is there for making profits to their stakeholders, to their shareholders, and the moment you put CSR imposed on a business, like people will find ways and means to escape the CSR. So only large organizations or medium and large organizations which earn decent profit, then they will be able to support the CSR activities because genuinely they make some profit, and whether it is government mandate or not, they normally when you grow bigger and when you have profitability and your age is going up, then you'll become more of a philanthropy and more of a helping mode and to support the society and all that. But when you come to the micro, small, medium industries, they are struggling to meet their both ends. So how do we make them be socially responsible? The moment profit is their primary criteria and they are unable to pay their people, their employees and their bank loans and the customers, and ultimately earn profits, it's a very difficult task. So their dilution is happening in the current situation. As you grow up, people like for this, the way we look at it, we discuss constantly with the government also. Normally, in my business when I started, till 40-50 people, I never paid any PF or CSR and all that, because I can't afford. If I pay that, I'll not be able to survive in my business. Few years later, I collapse myself and not doing any justice to the economy or anything. So then once we reached 100, 150, then we started thinking about the people. Then 1/3 of our people were on our rolls and will pay everything and take care, who are the core employees, and rest of them will be like off rolls, or we have created so many terms. I think any business enterprise which grown from the bottom must have gone through these phases. And third, when we become 500 or 1,000 employees, now like everybody on the roll and everything is taken care and all those things. That's how now when we partnered with Godrej, it is completely change of the scenario. We look for the good and green, we look for the water positiveness. We have, in every plant we have this effluent treatment plant, 100% utilization of water, zero discharge, and plant like 1 lakh plants every year for each of the factory. So all these goals will become once you are becoming big and large. So this dichotomy, in my view, to address this dichotomy, either government or the associations or the entire ecosystem should have some kind of a mechanism where until you grow to the certain level, until you get the profits, I don't want to violate purposely, but by compulsion I am violating. So then support them in the beginning. So I will not support in terms of a subsidy or giving a grant or anything. Instead, I'll support you until you grow to the size of 100 employees. Their PF and their ESI will be contributed by either some agency or government or some kind of a provision. If these policy interventions are coming, we are advocating everywhere. If these kind of things are coming, then there won't be any violations. So the service and quality is kind of a way of life. You have to start from the scratch. Like you should not, for this micro and medium, if you leave them in the early ages, like the child who learn in first his 10 years of life, these early enterprises also, until they get to the certain level, if they don't practice the quality and the social responsibility, then they'll not be able to continue at a later stages. So we need to do the inbuilt mechanism. So even in food industry where I am, earlier the nomenclature also plays a role. Like earlier it was a food controller, food inspector. The moment you hear that word, it's a kind of a terror on us. Like the head of the police is here of the state. So Shri Mahendar Reddy is continuously trying to change this perception of the police to like it's not a policing, but we are partners in your life, partners in your all activities. So that slowly that culture of the quality, culture of the social responsibility will be a practice. Similarly, on the industry front also, the similar thing is required, and these nomenclature at every level need to change. And in our case, like what I look, whether it is personally or from the organization, if I am giving any CSR fund to any organization, any NGO, I look at what is their administrative spend. There are some organizations which are world-renowned, UN recognized. They spend as much as 50% as their administrative this thing. So I don't want my every 100 rupees I pay, 90 or 94 or 95% should go to the needy people. So my criteria for the CSR fund giving is anything above 10% of administrative expenses of that NGO or that organization, I will not touch. I will not give any money to them. I just first criteria is passing is, please come to me. If your expenses of managing the large funds in serving the people is less than 10%, I am there with you. So I like that many organizations will have the criteria in making this CSR this thing. So the other thing, whenever you start this service motto from the bottom of pyramid or bottom of your employees, then entire organization dynamics will change. Your employees will be very satisfied. As a brand, you will get a wonderful recognition. As a promoters, will feel proud that we are associated with this. So these are the benefits of associating with the quality organizations. And then finally, environment impact is one thing which I think everybody should meet. And on one point, normally all the organizations which forget is to look for the stakeholders' benefit. Stakeholders are your suppliers, your employees, your staff, your consumers, all of these. But nowadays, the businesses are looking shareholder interest than stakeholders' interest. So that's one thing we need to change and advocate. And the other thing is, people should recognize, our organizations should recognize that society is one of the important stakeholder of your activity. So once you recognize that, and whatever you earn that penny, it will go to the society and it will help our society to bring up. And once again, thank you very much for inviting, and I congratulate entire TMI family for today's function. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Very thought-provoking ideas behind CSR. Thank you so much. Prajwala, Asia's largest institution combating commercial sexual exploitation. Since its inception in 1996 at Hyderabad, Ms. Sunita has assisted in the rescue of more than 26,000 young girls and women across 12 countries. Recipient of the 4th highest Indian civilian honor, Padma Shri, and recognized as 150 fearless women in the world by Newsweek, Sunita envisions a world free of sex trafficking and sex crime and has galvanized her vision by confronting traffickers, supporting survivors, and developing innovative models of prevention to disrupt the cycle of intergenerational exploitation. For her Herculean contribution, John Jay International Award, DVF Award, Aura Peace Prize, and CNN IBN Real Hero Award, among several others. A personal hero for me, put your hands together for Miss Sunita. Miss Sunita Krishnan, over to you.
Namaskar to everybody. With your permission, I will not use the podium. I want to be seen and heard among you all. A very good evening, Honorable DGP of Telangana, Shri Mahendar Reddy garu, esteemed guests on the dais. My journey has been a journey that has been, I'm a beneficiary of CSR. Late 1995, when I started my work in Hyderabad, red light area was getting evicted, which was just opposite the High Court. We started with a small initiative of 5 children, educating them. Today, the organization is one of the largest organizations in Asia, doing what we are doing. From just a small organization which was responding to children of women of prostitution as an intergenerational prevention, today we are into assisting the police in rescuing of girls from prostitution, providing them rehabilitation. We run one of the largest rehabilitation homes in the world, which can take care of at least 1,200 victims, a lone worker, to a very large movement, has been also a large part of the credit should go to CSR of several companies. I see a lot of my collaborators here. I see Umapati Garu, I see Shikha ma'am, I see Satyanarayan Garu, all of whom who have seen me from the initial stages of journey. Whether it is Google, whether it is Microsoft, whether it is Apollo Hospitals, several large companies have supported us. Friends in the corporate sector, Murli Anna, I call him, Mr. Muralidharan. You know, when we were starting, he was one of the very, lone person who felt that my way of supporting you is to create a safety net around you. We were getting attacks on us, we were getting defamed in the old city. And he said, the way I can help you is connect you to all my friends, who all of us will come and visit you. I don't know, Murli Anna, if you remember, you and Mr. Ramnamurthy, IPS officer, both of you all came with a big contingent of police officers to that Mehendi area, just to show the world that, we are with you. So, what I want to start by saying is, CSR need not be just a business enterprises thinking. It can be the thinking of every employee in the business enterprise, because it is not just money that brings change. You need to think beyond CSR, because CSR has its limitation. It has its benefits. I'm a beneficiary. I'm a beneficiary in terms of the number of companies which has supported me in construction, in various programs, including employment generation. But it is time bound, it is project bound, it is sometimes branding bound. It is also sometimes, as Mr. Bhaskar rightly said, with gunpoint you're saying 2% should go somewhere. It is not given with the right, heart. I have to give, I have no choice. And so I will find ways to go on. But going beyond CSR, if we look at CSP, that is how can each one of us, business enterprise, social enterprise, and all of us together, look at nation building as our motive. And when we talk about nation building, we who are in the privileged section, maybe in the corporate sector, how can we change things? Change things in such a way that the last person, the most excluded, the most marginalized is in. And that is what I would call CSP, the corporate social partnership. Corporate social partnership, I think TMI is way ahead of several other corporate companies in corporate social partnership, in the kind of employability program that you have created, in the kind of skill building program that you have created, in the kind of employment generation program that you have created. But I also think if businesses run ethical business, you do not harm the environment, the people, the entire ecosystem around you. That itself is also a very big contribution. If corporate businesses can mindfully think that my recruitment, my way of employing people inside my company, I'm mindfully thinking that the most excluded person has to get a space in my company. Whether it is LGBTQ, whether it is transgenders, it is whoever is the last person, I need to bring in it. When we talk about social commitment of business enterprises, all that I would say, please do it not because you're feeling so, overwhelmed with your extra amounts of money that you can't keep in your business account, and now you're feeling at the stage ki ab humko bhi saint ban jana chahiye, now we will start donating back. Please don't do it. Nobody needs your charity, nobody needs your philanthropy, but each one of us need you as a human being. Your skills, your compassion, your empathy, that is required, and you give that back because you want to contribute in nation building, not because you want to do some charity. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. A compassionate world is what we need to start working on. I'm profoundly delighted to introduce our chief guest for the evening, Mr. M. Mahendar Reddy, IPS, Director General of Police, Telangana. A native of Khammam district, Telangana, Mr. Mahendar Reddy is a graduate in civil engineering from NIT Warangal, was selected for IPS while pursuing MTech in Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. He has a master's degree in public personnel management from the Osmania University while he was in service. Mr. M. Mahendran Reddy served as Assistant SP of Godavari Kani in Karimnagar and Guntur town, additional SP at Belampalli in Adilabad, and SP of Nizamabad and Kurnool district. He was the East Zone DCP in Hyderabad Commissionerate for 3 years from 1995. He has served as a faculty to the USA he served as a faculty member as the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel National Police Academy here and has gone to study tours to the USA and the UK to acquaint himself with the police systems in those countries. I request our honorable chief guest for the evening, Mr. Mahendra. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Yeah, actually I had speaker 4. I'm so sorry. So we have the next speaker. It was not Mr. Mahendran Reddy. I will repeat that. Yes, please do. My apologies. The next speaker for the evening is Mr. P. Jayaraj Kumar. Mr. P. Jayaraj Kumar is a graduate from Marine Engineering College, Kolkata, and has a certificate of competency as Chief Engineer issued by the Department of Transport, UK. He has extensive marine experience, having worked in companies such as Mobile Shipping Company London, Fishing Falcons Limited, prior to becoming the Chairman and Managing Director of Ocean Sparkle Limited. On the humanitarian fund, he is a trustee of the Hridayalaya Foundation, which gives us hope for leading normal lives to those innocent children affected with congenital heart defects. Over to you, sir.
Thank you for the generous introduction. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, congratulations, TMI 2.0, and to all the employees and stakeholders of TMI, the very best. Usually, Muralidharan is very, very partial to IIT, IIM people. By some chance, he missed that opportunity today that I see there are 3 of us on the dais, Honorable DGP, Mahendar Reddy Garu, Pradeep Kumar Garu, and myself, also from RC Warangal. Yeah, so just a brief introduction. I run a company called Ocean Sparkle. We are a port management company. We manage ports in India and overseas as well. I'm a marine engineer by profession after REC, and went out to sea, came back and thought that there was always a need for good port management systems in India. Started this company in '95 with 3 other colleague marine engineers. We started this company. We were all first generation entrepreneurs like Muralidharan and the rest are as well. So the topic for today, beyond CSR. So well, I thought I should go back a little behind CSR. CSR is a very new terminology which has been coined by the government. And now, as Bhaskar Reddy Garu said, it's been made compulsory. Previously, it was optional. But we as Ocean Sparkle decided that we should give back to society very much early in our growth as we started in '95. And by the year 2000, we were not that big, but of course the seeds of giving back to society were always there in our minds. The first opportunity we had was a foundation called Hrudaya, which I partnered along with Dr. Gopichand, who's a very leading cardiothoracic surgeon in town and is now the managing director of Star Hospitals, which I'm also a part of. I've been a friend of his for the last 40 years, and he told me that, now that you are generating profits, why don't you contribute some to a foundation that we would get started with. So I am on both sides of the table. As Ocean Sparkle, we have contributed a great deal. And as Hrudaya Foundation, we've gone across, just like Muralidharan says, with the begging bowl before CSR actually came in. It was so difficult. But we did a lot good. Of course, all credit goes to Gopichand for doing the surgeries on children who are affected with congenital heart defects. The truth of the matter is that if these surgeries were not to be done, these people would not survive at all. I'm proud to say that we have, as Hrudaya Foundation, have done 6,000 surgeries so far and have given literally a second lease of life to all these children who some of them are now engineers and so on, and we're very, very happy for them. This was as early as in 2000 that we started Hrudaya Foundation, and subsequently, of course, as we support a palliative care center for terminally ill cancer patients. We support the Akshaya Akruti Foundation, the Arohi Blood Bank for thalassemia patients, and of course the list goes on to a large number, but we are happy to be associated with each one of these this thing. And it's not just funding that we do. We take great care to see that the funds are being utilized in a proper manner, and we are in this thing with every organization, how to help them better in every other possible means, so that the benefit goes on to a large number of people. I always believe that the more you give, the more you get, and I have the blessings of all those people who have supported, been beneficiaries of this support from the company. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. I now request our Honorable Chief Guest for the event, Mr. Mahendar Reddy, IPS, Director General of Police Telangana, to kindly address the gathering.
Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. Good evening, everybody. The esteemed guests on the dais, off the dais, the family of TMI, ladies and gentlemen. At the very outset, I would like to express my gratitude to Mr. Muralidharan for having invited to be part of this August occasion. The TMI 2.0, a vision for the organization, a course correction. It's a very landmark event in terms of putting a new roadmap after having served the society for so long. It's an opportunity for me to be part of these deliberations. I congratulate all the members of the TMI Group, the family of TMI, for being a socially responsible organization all through. And that's how I get connected to this organization very often. I also congratulate the young students of Udbhav School who have performed today so well, and whose lives have been lit by the efforts of TMI and all the associates, companies and organizations who have been supporting them in their education, giving these life skills. The topic for today, as I was told by Mr. Muralidharan, is the social responsibility of organizations beyond CSR. But he gave me an option to speak on this or about the police organization where I am. First of all, I would like to share my views on this topic of discussion. You know, any organization, whether the concept of CSR is there or not there, it is in the, it should be run in the interest of the society. It has, of course, the direct accountability to the shareholders. But in my humble opinion, it has a larger responsibility and accountability towards the society in which it operates. So therefore, the practices, the business practices of the organization need to be legal, ethical, and it should be socially responsible. All the practices should be socially responsible so as to ensure that we do not cause any harm to this universe, to this globe, to the mankind, because of whose support these organizations survive. So therefore, there are several opinions and views expressed how this CSR should be spent. I know how we should get connected to the society. But then if we make too much of profits recklessly without any concern for the society in which we are operating, it doesn't really matter if you spend too much of CSR on the socially responsible causes, because the damage that we cause to the society is much more than what we give back to the society. Therefore, apart from spending the profits on the socially responsible projects, social impact projects, we need to see whether we are running the organizations in a socially responsible manner so as to ensure that the environment is not degraded, the human lives are not endangered, and the fraternity within the society is not disturbed. So therefore, I feel and I trust and I hope that the corporates run their businesses ethically, run their businesses in a socially impactful manner, and then whatever profits they generate in the process, sometimes the profits may come down, it doesn't really matter. But whatever you generate out of it, legally, whatever CSR is expected to spend, if you are spending for socially impacting causes, it's welcome. But the primary requirement is we must run the businesses in a socially conscious manner so that we don't cause any harm to the society. So having said this, our effort in Telangana Police has been, after the formation of the state, how to transform, how to bring about the change in the way the police deliver its services, the way we interact with the society, the way we achieve our goals. These are very, very important. Once again, the social impact. If we have to look at it, when the state of Telangana was formed in 2014, there were several apprehensions that, once the state becomes small, there can be law and order issues, there can be communal violence, there can be Maoist problem revival, there can be terrorist events. Like this, there were several concerns. But then the government of Telangana, right from the day one, they have decided and ensured that the top priority is given for the public safety and security. That's one thing. The Honorable Chief Minister, the entire government, the missionary are very, very clear that the number one priority should go to the safety and security of the people. So therefore, the government has allocated adequate resources. They brought in the legal frameworks. They have brought about the necessary competency building initiatives and ensured that we have been able to rise to the occasion and ensure that the peace and public order remained in Telangana, which in turn will pave way for the development, welfare, well-being of the society. So the government and the Telangana Police Department, we truly believe that peace and public order is an essential prerequisite for the development of the society, for the welfare of the society. So as a part of that, we have inculcated a culture within the police organization that we must work in unison with other government agencies, with the NGOs, with all other stakeholders within the society, so as to ensure that the highest standards of safety and security are maintained. It's not enough, if we ensure that, the crimes are prevented, the crimes are detected, the criminals are prosecuted. But what is more important is we need to get connected with the communities. They must know what we are doing. We must take them on board, the purpose for which the police organization exists. In fact, the entire police function, the purpose, the center is the centricity is the people. So we need to have citizen-centric, community-centric initiatives. That is what we went about. So then we started working on 3 different aspects of the organization. Basically the process, people and technologies. These are the 3 areas where we worked rigorously, from the day one. And then we brought about necessary changes in the way the police organization functions, the way we interact with the communities, the way we look at the service delivery aspects, and ensured that the necessary processes, citizen-friendly, responsive processes are put in place. And at the same time, it's an era of technology. Technology, we decided to use it as a force multiplier and ensure that there's a certainty of being caught and certainty of being punished for every offender who tries to violate any law, in the state of Telangana. So as a part of that goal and the vision, the Honorable Chief Minister, the very first day of assuming charge, he sanctioned 350 crores to ensure that a very reliable, consistent, emergency response management system in the state of Telangana. We purchased, as many as 12,000 vehicles for the police department. We put them on the emergency response management. We have a centralized call center, and then every citizen, irrespective of whether he or she is having some influence within the department, does not, whether he or she is from poorer sections, richer sections, from middle class, whether somebody is supported, somebody is not supported, everyone should get an equal and fair treatment. That is the purpose. So therefore, whenever any citizen feels that he or she is in distress, the police should be available within 5 minutes in the city of Hyderabad, the state capital. That's what we decided. And we put the emergency response management in place. We have redesigned all our processes. We reskilled all our, the personnel who are deployed on them, right at the call center, the patrol officers who are on duty, and ensured that the goal is achieved. So therefore, the certainty that every time there is a distress for any individual, the assurance that police will be there with us, that's the assurance we wanted to give. Then the second, we decided that, okay, anyone who commits crime, he or she should not be able to escape. Then how to do it? Then we thought about the technology. Okay, let us have the CCTV cameras across the city and across the state, all over the state. Then how to invest such amounts of money? That's where the CSR came into picture. We approached the corporates, we approached the individuals within the communities, and then we have gone about, requesting them to build safe communities for themselves. Just for your information, when we had a series of public meetings within the local communities, when we started requesting the people to come forward and then sponsor the community CCTV cameras on the streets, the first initiative came from street vendors. It is not the rich people, it's not the middle class, but the poorest of the poorer sections. they were very much touched. They said that they need safety. So they wanted to have a camera where they do the business so that they are not harassed, they are not hoodwinked by any of the individuals, and they will have the evidence to show that they have not committed any crime, they have not violated any law, but on the other hand, someone else has deviated. So the first initiative in Banjara Hills, in one of the slum colonies, those people who were doing the street vending business, they contributed and they set up the first CCTV camera in Hyderabad city. So then it spread like wildfire. All communities came forward. Now today we have more than 10 lakh CCTV cameras across the state. I can confidently say that every village has CCTVs, all approach entry points, all junctions. In every village we have the CCTV cameras today. Similarly, all over the city and the tier 2 cities, district headquarters, next smaller towns, everywhere people have come forward. For this, the government has brought about a legislation, the Public Safety Measures Enforcement Act, where every establishment is expected to set up cameras covering the public spaces all around the establishment. And then the storage is with them only. Only when it is required on request, they are expected to share the footage. So therefore there was privacy, but there was safety for every establishment. So we went around and asked all the temples, mosques, churches, education institutions, every institution of importance, and they all came forward, and then they built the CCTV project today, crossing 10 lakh CCTV cameras. That is a socially conscious project undertaken by the society itself, and each one of them have contributed. The rich and poor, there was no difference. Somebody contributed 100 rupees, somebody contributed 1,000, but somebody has contributed a few lakhs, it doesn't matter. But everybody's contribution was there. That's how the whole society came forward, got together, built a very robust system where their neighborhoods have become safe and secure. So similarly, in terms of our work methods, when I joined the service, I would like to give a classic case how typical policeman thinks. I was assistant superintendent of police, my first posting in Godavarikani subdivision. So that's an industrial town, Godavarikani, Ramagundam, lot of workforce, Singareni collieries, NTPC, Fertilizers Corporation of India, FCI, and also many industries were there. So there were a lot of thefts in the night. So as an youngster, since I joined the service in the very formative days, so I used to discuss with all my constabulary in the police stations what to do, how to go about it, the sub-inspectors who were there. They started saying that, okay sir, because these offences are happening after 11. So after 11 o'clock, let us ensure that nobody comes onto the streets. Like let us impose a situation like a curfew, evening 11 to morning 5. Then we can prevent crimes. Yes, this is one way to prevent crime. But then if we see the social objective for which this police exists, that is not the purpose. If we have to impose curfew and then maintain law and order, then the purpose for which we exist is defeated. So therefore we must ensure that there is life 24/7. People are able to walk through in the streets and ensure that there are no crimes. And if somebody commits crime by any chance, we must be able to detect. Since those days we didn't have the technologies, we were not able to put a system in place where we would be able to detect everyone. But today it has been possible with this community CCTV system. I come back to this traffic management in Hyderabad city. As we see in some of the big cities how the traffic is going haywire, we wanted to have a system where our goal was that the journey time from point to point, when a Ola or Uber, taxis move from place to place, the average journey time for X kilometers of per kilometer, it should be the minimum in the city among all the metropolitan cities. That was the goal, so that the traffic keeps moving. There are no perpetual congestions at any place. So we wanted to put systems in place. We brought about a lot of changes in the way we enforced. Earlier, the physical enforcement we used to do, like we used to stop the people, check for their documents, check for their helmet, put the fines then and there. But then when we are doing it, most of the people used to think we are collecting the money for some other extraneous reasons. So the police image was getting, because people were becoming rebellious. Therefore, we need to overcome this. How to get the compliance, more and more of the citizen compliance, voluntary compliance, we thought about it. Then we said, no, we will not do any physical enforcement. We will do everything by camera, everything through the technology, and there would not be any physical interface. So 2014 to now, today the compliance of the traffic rules in Hyderabad city has gone multiple times. Now we have 95% of the people wearing the helmets. So that's a change that has come from almost 5-10% to 95%. Then people know, even at the mid of the night, at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the night, if there is a red light, there may not be any policeman, but people are stopping because they know that there is a camera and the challan will come by the time they reach home. That's how we have put the system in place. So we need to bring about these changes in the way we work so that people, the social purpose is not defeated. Otherwise, by achieving our departmental goal, the organizational goal, if we are not subserving the interests of the society, I think the social responsibility of the organizations are not served. We used to have a practice, when I joined the service, I was DCP East in 93 to 95 here. And at the shop's closure time was 8 o'clock those days. So by 9 o'clock, all our staff used to go to the shops, physically beat them up, close the doors, drive them out. But then large number of people are moving on the streets. Then what they used to think about the police are why they are so much draconian. They would never think that the shop is not closed because it's 9 o'clock. Police is enforcing it. They would only think, police has been brutal and citizens have been harassed. And what is this kind of, the purpose for which the police organization exists is not served. So we brought a small change. Let's not do any physical closure of the shop. If 11 o'clock is the time for the closure today, then you go at 11:30, only take the photographs of the shop where it is open. Then charge the owner of the shop, not even the person who is running the shop. And the next day ask him to come to the court. You do in 1 or 2 cases, the entire street will comply with the law, and then there won't be any harassment to the citizens. So once we started implementing the law uniformly across the streets, then naturally the compliance has gone up. So everybody has started closing it. But then the purpose should not be lost for any organization in the process of achieving their goals. Now we truly believe in Telangana Police that the society has 50% of the population, the women. So therefore the women's safety is a top priority for us in Telangana Police. The government of Telangana from day one has been giving highest priority. We have brought about certain institutional changes in terms of the she teams. For example, the she teams earlier, we used to have eve teasing squads and all, but then they used to catch a fellow, beat him up there, and then leave or take him to the court. But then it creates a kind of repulsion in the society where majority of the people on the streets would not understand why you are doing it, because they don't understand that this man has indulged himself in an event which is harmful to the safety of the woman. So what we did was, we have she teams today which are not visible on the streets. They do take technology gadgets. They are part of the public on the public streets. And then wherever there is a threat to the woman, wherever there is eve teasing, there is a safety hazard, the people get recorded. We continuously follow till we get enough evidence, and then we catch hold of them. What did it happen? Because of this, whenever we catch a person, some 50 years old professor working in a university is caught, then immediately the society will say, how can a professor do it? But once we show the video, the family gets convinced, the court gets convinced, the neighborhood gets convinced. Similarly, whenever we catch hold of the children, the moment the parents are called, they'll say, my children are very law-abiding. They have never done this like this. You probably by mistake, you have caught someone else. Like that, they would say. Once we show the video, then the parents themselves start telling that, no, you punish our child. You know, that's the transformation that comes. Therefore, the evidence-based policing is basic to everything. We need to have systems, the tools, the methodologies, where the society is convinced of our intent, convinced of our actions. Every time we need to be accountable to the society. That is how we would be able to get the majority of the community with us in our efforts to enforce the law. The idea of law enforcement is that majority of the public are expected to follow the norms. Whoever, the minority who deviates from the law, the police is expected to deal with them. If everybody starts deviating the law, there is no way the police can enforce it. Therefore, the entire police working is reoriented to ensure that the majority of the public become law-abiding, and then we are left with dealing with only few minor deviants. So therefore, the society feels safe and secure. So we have today the Bharosa centers where the victims of violence, the women, the children, they are subjected to cruelty, they are subjected to, sexual offenses. They are traumatized. But then we thought about how to deal with this situation to ensure that every victim, they don't get re-victimized in the process of going through the criminal justice system. So that is very, very important because she is already victimized, and then recording an FIR, it becomes a trauma once again. Again, and getting tested for the evidence is a trauma once again. Once again, when they are taken to the court for recording their statement under 164, then it is a trauma. So at every stage, if the victim is re-traumatized, then what is the purpose? Ultimately, the case may get convicted, but the soul of the victim is lost. So therefore, we need to look at, in the process of doing our work, in the process of achieving our goal. As a typical policeman, my goal is that I must register case, investigate, charge sheet, arrest the offender, charge sheet, and get him convicted. But if I do only these things, if I lose track of the victim, then the whole purpose for which this entire effort is being done is lost. So therefore, I congratulate in this regard, Prajwala, whatever Prajwala has been doing, it's a great job. And it's a most difficult job where, the society's support is very less. The victim support several times is hostile. And under the difficult and trying circumstances, they would have to deal with the situation and ensure that the rehabilitation is done. So in this, when we establish these Bharosa centers, our idea is once a victim comes to the Bharosa center, from then onwards, the re-victimization, we must be able to ensure that it does not happen. And all services are rendered at one place. The psychological, emotional counseling, and also the legal support, the medical treatment, then the deposing in the court, everything should be done in a way that she feels at home, and then this is a home for her till the entire trauma is overcome. We not only deal with the investigation, arrest of offender and charge sheeting, but we are expected to be in rehabilitation in terms of the skill building also, so that they would be able to improve their own productivity at the cutting edge level. So it's an initiative which we have taken up the rest of the country as far as the convergence is concerned. Because law enforcement, public order management, whether it is women safety, whether anything you take, it's a multi-agency function. Even for that matter, the traffic management. The police alone would not be able to do. There are several stakeholders. The person who lays the road, the person who puts the drains, the person who puts power lines. Everyone has a role whether the traffic will run smoothly or purpose for which this command and control center has been established. Now we have command centers at the police station, at the district level, or the commissionerate level, then at the state level. Similarly, we are encouraging that every department should have a command center of their own, so that all these command centers of various departments and within the departments at various levels and structures, so that they all work together in unison, and then the data is shared and the...
Thank you so much, sir. I think Telangana Police stands as a true example of citizen partnering. Thank you for keeping us safe. Thank you for keeping the city safe, sir. Thank you very much. We now have some of our senior management team who would like to give away a small memento for the guests. Padma ma'am. We have Padma ma'am, Mr. Samir, Mr. Sriram, Mr. Ishaq, Mr. Peter, Ms. Rajni, and Mr. Santosh.
He did give you? Thank you. Yeah, she wanted a photograph. I think REC Trichy
We now have the... Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
We now have the vote of thanks by Mr. Ramakrishnan, CEO TMI Group.
I'm going to be very short. I don't know whether I need a mic. I'll take this. I think we have overshot our time, so I'm going to be very short. I must thank everyone on the stage for giving wonderful thoughts and sharing fabulous stories which are very inspiring. I must thank every one of you who have attended and sat through patiently listening to all of us and responding to it. I could see it in many of your eyes and your smiles. And I hope today we have triggered a small bit of interest in everyone, like what Sunita was saying, that every one of us is responsible, or what Mr. Reddy was saying, the whole society is responsible and accountable to ensure that we live together and we include everyone. So thank you very much for being here. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much. We are now opening the refreshments. Please help yourselves. We have the counters on the other side. Yeah. We'll be
Can anyone help?
Sometimes it's great. Can we have some tea together? Can I request some tea together? Yeah. Some tea. They're not drinking because you let me know where I met you.
That is his efficiency.
I have my numbers.
Many numbers.
All numbers plus
Part of
from
the
my
process.
childhood now. Everybody's number I have.
One child.
All from me. Okay, see you there. I'll talk to you.
Yeah.
I won't be there.
Mine. No, you're not going like that. You have a child and have something else. Nothing doing, you're not doing, you're eating. Keep moving and there's so much. चाय भी रिफिल करवाइए खाजा खाजा गरम चाय
Divine project.
So we have something. Pav Bhaji, there's dosa and there's
She was Arun Babu. She was we had the actually mother's fear, that's why she had already
और लाइए दो-तीन तक लाइए
आगे दोसा भी लेकर दोसा भी लेकर और दो तीन प्लेट दोसा